Well, the men in black are one topic that creates enormous interest in the UFO believing community. We've provided many accounts here at Aliens Revealed Live, and today we have another one. David Montgomery has run into these mysterious figures a couple of times, and he's going to share those experiences with us today. David Montgomery joining us. Hi, David.
Hello, Dean. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Well, the men in black, during the 90s, they were made very popular by the movie trilogy that was produced, but they're not really like that from what I gather and speaking to a lot of people that have had accounts with them. And you're in a similar vein, but you've had both I guess, a good experience and a bad experience. Let's look at the good experience first. So what actually happened?
Yeah, they're nothing like Will Smith in the movies at all. Yeah, the first one I mentioned it was much more benign than the second one, meaning so going back to 2007, and it happened in public. It was a public sighting and appearance, and I was with some friends at a mall, a local mall here in Calgary, Alberta, and the entrance to this mall faces onto a walkway, and on this walkway there's some restaurants that are very close by. And backing onto one of these restaurants was a park bench, just a regular, 3-4 seater park bench. So I'm guessing about 30 meters away or so from the entrance. And we were going to all meet at the entrance. We hadn't seen each other like in a while, so we were just doing a get together. And I was walking up to greet them. I had seen them at the entrance, and I was walking from the restaurant side. And for some reason, I kind of intuitively needed to look to my right for some reason. It was like something had caught my attention. I didn't know what it was. And sitting on the far left-hand side of this bench was, and it's bizarre because it's kind of like right out of the typical Men in Black scenario, was this man dressed completely in black. He had, I don't know if it was a newspaper or a magazine, but literally had it up blocking his face, but I could see the hat. There was the bowler hat.
Right.
And I kind of I looked straight at him. And soon as I looked at him, he lowered the paper, the magazine, and he was looking directly at me. And we made eye contact for about 3 seconds. And like I said, he was the typical black suit, white shirt, black tie, the hat, very pale skin. And the eye contact was very, I just had an eerie feeling like, this guy's.
Was he looking at you with intent?
It felt like there was intent. I couldn't read what it was other than the connection was very icky. Like it just felt, this guy's energy is really weird. And then I after about 3 seconds of this, I turned away. And then now my mind's going. I'm going, that guy looks because I've heard of accounts of Men in Black, and I've read them, and I thought, that's kind of fascinating. And then going through my mind now is, could it be like perfect to the T? So I walked over as I met my friends, and I kind of nudged my friend Troy, and I said, hey, don't be too obvious, but have a look over my shoulder. And before I could answer, he said, I know. He said, I saw him. He's been watching us. And we just kind of glanced at each other and went, oh, okay, so let's get inside. So we just kind of made our way into the mall. That was the extent of that particular sighting. We didn't see him afterwards during our walk or the rest of that day.
Did he look human?
He looked human, absolutely. You know what was really weird, Dean, is he stood out like a sore thumb, like the way he was dressed. Very, like I said, very white, pale skin, except, and this is the entrance of a mall and restaurants. It was quite busy on a weekend, and nobody was paying attention to him. Like it was like he wasn't there. Nobody was like looking at him or anything. It was like people were just ignoring that he was even there. But yeah, very human. Like at a glance, you wouldn't even pay attention other than the way he was dressed.
Right,
kind
right.
of gave it away. And then if you paid attention to him and were sensitive to energy, you could know that there's something weird about this fella.
That's it's interesting. You point out it was at a mall because one of our guests, one of our regular guests, Debbie Stoner, had a similar experience many years ago at a mall up north, um, and the ones she ran into had very pale skin as well, and
Hmm.
like almost had like a Nordic kind of appearance to them.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't remember if he had hair or he was bald. The hat kind of covered everything, but yeah, extremely pale, tall. Probably, if I could guess, he was probably close to 5'11", 6 feet. If he were to
right,
stand up, yeah.
yep. All right. So what happened the second time around? I believe they visited you at your home.
Yeah, they did. So after this period, um, like I kind of thought, well, that's really interesting. I didn't, I didn't take that sighting personally, even though there was a direct contact. Maybe he was there for anybody, or just I don't know what he was doing there. Maybe I just happened to be in the field of view and we made a connection.
Mm-hmm.
Um, about a year after that, before I go into the next sighting, I remember there was a period of about 10 days or 2 weeks where you just get that gut feeling that you're being watched or
Mm-hmm.
followed.
Yep.
Not from a place of paranoia, just from that gut instinct of, yeah, there's somebody watching me. I went through a period of almost 2 weeks because I lived downtown. I used to walk to work. It was within half a mile, and it just kind of clicked in one day. It was like, it's that feeling of I'm being somebody's watching me, and it would be there morning, noon, night, and it lasted for about, like I said, about 2 weeks.
Right.
Never saw anything that would tip that off as to what it was. Just a deep intuitive feeling. So the second visitation is, I believe it was 2011, the spring of 2011. And yeah, like I said, this one is extremely different, almost supernatural in a way. So the middle of the night, and just to kind of set up my bedroom. So the end of my bed faced this wall,
Mm-hmm.
and there's about 6 or 7 feet between the end of the bed to that wall. I wake up in the middle of the night, just out of the blue, and the first thing that I am feeling is this very heavy, almost like a fear energy that is like
Yeah.
like almost like pressing me to the bed.
Yep.
And I wake up, but I can't move. The only thing I can really move is my eyes and my head just a little bit. And I'm like, what? I didn't know what it was. I had no idea what was going on. And then directly across from the foot of my bed to this wall, and this is where it gets weird, Dean. All I can do is describe to you exactly what happened. This portal opened in my wall,
Mm-hmm.
massive portal about 7 feet in diameter. It was like very bright white, and through this, because my head is down, but I can look, I can peer down and see what's happening.
Yep.
Through this walks two of these men in black, because I recognize them immediately. Well,
Did they
there was
look?
three.
Did they look like the first one you encountered?
Exactly,
Wow.
exactly. And they were dressed the same. Yeah, they were dressed the same. Um, Two walked through the portal into my bedroom, and the third one stayed like at the portal on the edge. Like he had 1 foot in, 1 foot out,
Mm-hmm.
and he stayed there. The other two walked in, and for the next, I don't know what the time span was, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, they like rummaged through every belonging in my room. It's like they were searching for something. And all I could do was just be like as still as I could and just watch them. And like through all of this, there was this incredible fear energy, like this, like
Right.
almost like a, it's, and I've come to understand that they're able to project this fear energy. They project it onto people, into areas, and I think it's a means of subduing us, or subduing the
Hmm.
person that they're visiting, and it works to a certain extent because I couldn't move. All I could do was just be still and observe what was happening.
Were they aware that you were awake?
You know what? Not once did they look at me. It was almost like they didn't care. They just walked in and they immediately, like they were going through drawers, they were looking under desks, they were like rifling through everything, and I just got the feeling like they're specifically looking for something. And after, like I said, about maybe 3 or 4 minutes, they just abruptly stopped, walked back through the portal. The two of them went through, and one guy that was there, kind of straddling, left behind them, and then it just collapsed. I could see everything because the light emanating from this
Hmm.
portal was enough to illuminate the
Yeah.
room, even though
Yeah.
it was pitch black. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Was
soon
there any,
as
was there anyone else in the house?
my roommate, I think she was upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no recollection from her. No.
Wow. That is pretty scary. Sev Tok, who had a similar experience, she talked about two versions of Men in Black: a 3D type and an astral version. I mean, did they
Yeah.
look either one, or were they 3D or astral?
That's a good question. Um, I do believe that they do have portal technology. Their ability to kind of show up where they need to show up when
Mhm.
they want to show up. They certainly looked 3D, um, but given the fact that they left through this created portal, you almost wonder if there's some kind of a blend between the two, or they're using both
Right.
simultaneously. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So now, how long ago was this?
2011.
2011. And how far
Yeah.
apart were the two experiences that you
So
had?
the first one was, I believe, 2007.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So 4 years. Have you kind of sat there thinking, is there something I've done, or is there information that I've received that I probably shouldn't have?
Yeah, it's like I said, the first episode, the first incident, I can kind of chalk that up to, we could have been there for anybody in a public place. The second one really brought it home, like they know where I live, they know who I am. They don't waste their time and resources. They know exactly, who they're dealing with, and what they're going to be doing. So this started bringing up all kinds of questions. Okay, it's like, why are they here? Why me? And so I sat with that for a while, and the only thing that I can come up with, Dean, is that um, on a 3D level, this has nothing. I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I do a lot of meditations. I lead and teach meditations,
Hmm.
and things like that. But in this period, back towards 2006, 2007, I started having some very profound dreams, um, to the effect that they didn't even really feel like dreams. It felt like I was actually participating in what was like, they were very extremely vivid.
Right. Right.
And these happened over a period of about 6 or 7 months. And in these like hyper surreal dreams, where I was completely like I was conscious, not like the lucid kind of
Yep.
dreaming. I was extremely present and conscious. And in each one of these dreams, I was, the first one that I recall, I had a piece of alien technology, and I remember exactly how it looked. It was shaped like a small boomerang, but it was cylindrical.
Hmm.
It fit in the palm of my hand, and it had inscriptions and symbols on it. And I was running, and it was at night. I remember every detail of it. And I was being chased. I was being chased by specific members of the government that
Mm-hmm.
wanted this technology. And I remember as I was trying to elude them that this technology cannot go into their hands. It's not meant for them.
Right.
And so I was eluding them. And they were on the ground. I remember there was a helicopter, black helicopter above me. And throughout this vivid dream, I was eluding capture and them gaining this piece of
Mm-hmm.
technology. And from what I remember, I did elude them. There was another dream about a couple of months after that, similar grounds dealing with alien technology,
Right.
where I was going into this home where I knew that somebody had stolen a piece of alien technology. This particular person was a lady, and she was all I knew. Like when you're in these hyper realistic dreams, there's just this knowing that comes in.
Yep. Yep.
So she was part of this organization that had gotten hold of this technology. Again, it was not meant for them. It was stolen, and I was there to get it back.
Right. Right.
And I gained entry into her home, and I actually did end up getting it back.
So
So
yeah, I'm just thinking. So a couple of things. Meditation. Maybe you got onto a consciousness level that connected with these beings, or maybe those weren't dreams, and you may be a prime candidate for regression therapy.
yeah, maybe, right? Yeah. So, who knows what we do at night as our soul travels and we astral travel.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a great number of us that are doing some pretty uh, wonderful and neat, weird things behind the scenes that we're really not conscious of when we wake up.
Yeah.
So when they came into my room in 2011, and this didn't come to me until later, like a couple of years later, as I sat with it, because I'd kind of thought, well, those are really interesting dreams. I didn't connect the two at all. I thought, well, maybe they actually think I still have that piece of technology because they were there looking for something specific. Like I could intuit. They weren't just seeing what I had in my room, they were looking for something.
Yeah.
And they left empty handed. They just said, okay, we're done. And then left. I thought, I wonder if they're still looking for that piece of technology.
Mm. Well, they obviously weren't there to. Well, I guess they weren't there to harm you because they didn't,
No,
and they weren't there to give you a message either.
no.
Which the message part is a classic symptom of people that run into these beings. That
Yeah, yeah,
they get a message.
yeah. Yeah, it's zero message. Like I said, they didn't even once look at me when I was kind of comatose in my bed watching them. But it was like they didn't even know I was there or just ignored me completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, another experiencer who had a couple of run-ins with the m.i.b reported that time almost stood still and it seemed like he was being spoken to for an hour, but when they left, it was only a few minutes. Was that similar in your case?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just kind of going off of my, the conscious part of how long they were in the room. Um, they could have been there for half an hour. Like it felt like maybe it felt a bit longer because of the energy. Like it was
Yeah.
just a really, um, it's a horrible feeling to be honest, Dean. It's like a fear that paralyzes you physically.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can't move. And I remember going through all of these scenarios. Like, do I try to get up and do something? Like what do I do? And I tried moving, and I thought, well, if I try like harder, I might be able to move. But then I would go, no, just sit back and just let them do what they need to do, and then they'll leave.
Right. Yep. Um, did you tell anyone about what happened?
Sorry, Dean. Did I?
No, I just said, did you tell anyone else what happened? Have you shared the story before?
Well, to very few people, not to a heck of a lot of people. But yeah, well, my two friends that were with me at the mall the first time, they both know, they both saw him.
Hmm.
So we've talked about that a little bit. but the second episode, yeah, not a heck of a lot of people, Dean. Just,
Yeah.
you know,
I was going to say, did you reach out to other experiences that went through, to find out whether others have gone through a similar thing?
I haven't. No, no, I haven't. Although I have read accounts of you know people experiencing similar encounters where there is a portal that these men in black, walk through,
Right.
which was really interesting. It kind of confirmed, okay, this perhaps is a normal mode of entry and exit for these beings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully by watching today's program, hopefully there are people out there that can report a similar experience, and maybe they can connect with you and kind of put your mind at rest.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't feel I'm carrying any kind of trauma from it, even though the experience was, there
Yeah.
was,
So
in the moment. So, but I've just kind of accepted
no, no, no,
what it is.
no strangeness since the last episode. No heightened senses or intuitiveness.
Nothing that's changed from like what I already had or have.
Hmm.
Although oftentimes at night I will hear voices. It's sometimes like somebody will be in the house talking and it's a male voice or two
Right.
male voices going back. I can never discern what is being said.
Yeah.
That happens once in a while. Very strange kind of feeling, like all the doors are locked. There's nobody should be in here, but there's
Yeah.
definitely I hear people speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, David, thanks very much for sharing those stories with us. And as I said,
yeah. You're welcome.
if there's anyone out there that has had a similar experience, please get in touch. Please drop us a line and let us know. We'd certainly like to kind of get to the bottom of this. But David, once again, thank you, and as always, keep in touch if anything strange happens
Yeah,
again.
absolute. I will. And again, thank you so much for this, Dean. Thank you.
My pleasure. That's David Montgomery joining us today.